Hi guys, you are watching Health Focus with Amy, a platform where we talk about healthcare activities, all careers and all equipment regarding your health. Welcome. Every time you go to the hospital, there are people who are working behind scenes to ensure that a right diagnosis is given, a right diagnosis is done at the very right moment, so that we don't give wrong treatment, so that we don't do wrong management. These are the people who are not known so much, but they're very much known. It is laboratory management. They are called lab technicians, they are called pathologists, and they are called another name. You learn him to a lab. Today we are going to feature one lab technician. He's my friend, he's a very good one. Karibu sana, Grace.
Santa.
Kindly introduce yourself to the viewers.
My name is Grace Kareithi, currently working at PCQ Hospital, and I am the quality manager in the laboratory.
All right.
Yes.
So when we say laboratory technician, what do those people do?
We make a diagnosis. We tell the doctor what exactly your problem is. We analyze your blood, we analyze your urine, we analyze your stool, and come up with a diagnosis like this guy is suffering from amoebiasis, you're suffering from a kidney failure. So basically that is what we do.
Such that without your input,
the doctor will not treat you.
The doctor won't know what they're doing.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So Grace, where did you grow up? Where did you go to school? How did you find yourself here?
I am born and raised in Nyeri, that is one. Started in Nyeri, by the way. KMTC, I went to Nyeri also. I graduated in 2013. Worked here and there in Nairobi, Kasarani. Worked for a project with HIV.
Hey, wait. Hey, that's so crashed. Where did you go to school? Formative years, those early years.
Early years. Well, I said I'm a Nyerian, that is one. I went to primary school. I went to private school. My dad is a teacher, my mom is a teacher.
Hey.
And so those days, watoto wa mwalimu
academy.
So I went to an academy called Uhoine Udugu Academy. Funny enough, I found teachers who are my dad's students. So kila saa, mtoto wa Mr. Kareithi, mtoto wa Mr. Kareithi.
Mtoto wa mwalimu.
Mtoto wa mwalimu.
Hiyo usichokoze mtoto wa teacher.
So, but I didn't used to study. I didn't work hard. Nilipata to 93.
I know. Oh God. And then?
My mama akaniambia haiwezi pata hiyo, lakini hii ni sawa tu. So I went to high school in Kirugoya. A high school called Garu Girls Secondary School. Kapata C+. After Garu Girls now, I left Garu Girls in 2008.
Okay. So, as you leave high school, did you know what you want to do?
No. I wanted to do accounts.
Why accounts?
Because I did well in maths. I scored a B+ in maths. And when you pass in maths, people assume you should do something mathematical, you know? Kitu inahusiana na hesabu. So hata nikitoka shule, I was telling my dad, either I do engineering, ama nifanye accounts.
So what engineering?
I actually applied for civil engineering sometime back. My dad akapeleka mpaka makaratasi zangu lakini sikuenda. I don't know what happened.
Okay. All right.
So that was 2008. 2009, my dad tells me we applied with my sister. My sister wanted really passionate about nursing. So my sister applied akapata. So there is a friend of my dad, huko Ushago, ni lecturer KMTC ya Nyeri, lakini anafunza public health. So akambia my dad, hey, there are still positions that are not filled if you do this record application. So I applied.
Just because the friend to your dad has said there are positions.
Yeah, there is a position. Me, I wanted to do public health.
Why public health?
I don't know.
You didn't even know what public health meant?
Exactly.
Okay.
Nilijulia shule.
Okay. So
my dad akaniambia, we apply tu ile utapata ni sawa. So mimi sikupata public health. Barua ilikuja ni barua ya lab. So me I'm asking my dad, mimi nikapima sputum aje?
So but at least you knew what a lab technologist do.
Exactly. I knew it's analysis of samples. Basically that is it.
How did you know it?
Because I've been to a hospital unaambiwa, wewe kaa hapa tutoe damu. Kwenda ulete urine. So at least I had an idea. Lab tech, hiyo ndio kazi ya lab tech. So I'm asking.
Kupima samples.
Exactly. Aje. Alafu I had a farm tech, a friend of mine alikuwa ananichocha ananiambia, Grace, unajua utakuwa unapima stool.
I know.
Hiyo ndio kazi ya lab tech. Ananiambia ni hiyo kama hutaki ukae.
I know.
So wewe nikasema nitaenda tu. Acha niende miezi 2. If I try this thing and doesn't work for me,
you leave.
Me, I'm going back home. And I told it to my dad. Mimi nikiana nishindwe, mimi narudi.
Did you know any other fields in medicine anyway?
Nothing.
Apart from nursing because of your sister?
Yes.
Public health
My
because of the
sister ameenda
lecturer?
nursing. Mimi nimechukuliwa lab sciences. I wanted public health. You know, I had been told public health haina story na medicine. Yani, hakuna story na patients.
It's true.
You know, it's purely health. Yani, ensuring where you live and what you do
is clean.
Health standards are maintained. Because I didn't want anything to do with the patients. Me, I couldn't do nursing. Dressing wounds and stuff.
Yeah, that's what you know nursing is. Dressing wounds.
I mean, you know nothing.
True.
Right now, there are people who don't know they are lab technologists.
That's true.
There are people who don't know we have radiographers.
That's true.
There are people who don't know we have farm techs.
Even orthopedic technologists.
Exactly.
And trauma, emergency, I don't know, technologists. Okay, we'll feature them.
The plaster guys.
Yes.
So people know in the medicine field,
nursing.
The only thing that you say is a nurse and a doctor.
And a clinical officer. Imagine.
How wengine ni
others.
You see, even when the media is reporting about COVID.
Doctors and nurses. In fact, they don't know you. And you are the diagnosers.
Imagine.
Anyway, now you get that admission.
Yes.
You go to
KMTC Nyeri.
How was the experience the first few weeks?
You know, KMTC Nyeri is attached to the referral hospital. And patients will come out and bask. I mean, the wards are there, KMTC is here. So patients will move out of their wards and will bask out there. And so my first days, I find patients all over Nyeri Hospital with wounds. You have a bad, like the whole of you here. Another kid has a bad.
But it's covered.
It is covered, but you're worried. You've never seen this thing. You're scared. So me actually preferred using the wrong route. If you're going outside Nyeri,
no.
Yes, instead of passing through
so
the
that
hospital,
you don't see patients.
Yes, and there are wounds and those people on stretchers, you know.
Cry.
I was so scared. But after some time, I got used to it. When a lecturer told us, and you people, you go to the mat and see what happens there.
So you went to
I went
mat.
and left. We went, the 6 of us.
You didn't go to mat?
Yes, we went. Getting at the door,
and you're doing a medical course.
The way mamas were screaming there, I left, Emily. I was not ready psychologically, like, these are the things you're going to see.
Every day.
You better be prepared, because this is what you will deal with day in, day out.
So, how... Nobody... Okay, I know the first few days in school, you do a lot of theories, anatomy, physiology, all bio... Those things theory. So, nobody is telling you about the practical when you are going there and taking you there
This is
around.
what you shall do.
So, were you taken around?
Yeah, we were. We were introduced, not in the hospital, in the school, of course. In the hospital, you're not introduced. And you know, you're in that blue thing.
Yes.
There's actually a day...
It's a blue uniform.
It's a blue uniform. I met with a matron, casualty. That day, you pass by the hospital,
you are a nurse.
So that you get to the other side of Nyeri in case you're buying something. You can use the longer route, or you can pass through the hospital. So you pass through the hospital, and there is a patient collapsing at casualty. Do you even know what casualty is? You're 2 weeks old in KMTC, but you're in a blue uniform. These people don't know if you're a student, but at least you know something about
medicine.
Do you even know first aid? Do you know how to handle someone? And so the matron will see us, we are just standing there doing nothing.
And
she said, where, come. Jenny, really. Why can't you help this patient? You know, she's expecting us, we know. Alienda katushtaki kwa HOD.
What?
HOD anasema, Grace, kujeni. Boss, me, I don't know nothing.
You don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do.
So the first few days in school, nobody gives you a hospital culture.
Nobody.
Like you just go straight to your content, but not the whole healthcare expectations.
No, they are assuming we are starting the introduction. With time, you will get
catch
to know
up.
these things.
Wow.
But I think it's important to get an intro. This, the female ward, this, the peds.
And this is what is expected of you in
like,
healthcare.
You know, you're a medic, you're in a blue uniform. Even if you're studying X-ray, you want to be a radiographer someday.
You should be taught
to know these things.
First aid, BLS studies at the initial stages. Wow.
And if you're in this blue uniform, we will expect you to do something.
There are expectations.
Yes.
But for real, for sure, because somebody won't collapse and you're standing there, it's so absurd. Even right now, you will wonder. Wow.
But you say you're in a uniform, and it's very new. They can't even tell you. Your uniform is very new, like this fella.
So now you do your introduction. You now get used to not passing round the longer route.
I better use the longer route. I preferred it.
In totality.
Yes.
Wow.
You see, that one scared me. You see, you knew you've already been reported to the HOD, like
You
the
did
HOD
help a
for medical
patient.
lab sciences. Your staff cannot even help a collapsing patient.
Oh God.
So that scared me. That
Never.
another day I might find a worse patient, do nothing, and then I'll be reported back here again. And you know, KMTC is just like high school.
It is.
They'll just wake up one day and tell you, Grace,
Go home.
carry your things.
Go home.
Me, when I was in Nyeri, there were people who were fired. You know, KMTC, you're only given an allowance of repeating once. Now, if you fail in that once, you're
That's it.
unteachable. You go
That's
home.
true.
There are people who left when I was a sitting.
Really?
Yes. KMTC Nyeri. There are people who left. You're unteachable.
Me, I never saw that in nursing
Nyeri
school.
was super serious. Me, I had some shaggy hair. I had to shave. I went to school and my mom is telling me, Grace, do away with that hair.
You thought you were an adult. You have an ID.
So I went to school. Mwalimu akaniambia, Grace, osha hiyo nywele, wacha hata ikae bila chemical.
Ukusikia.
I cleaned. Inabadilika. Inabaki tu tule tu spiky, you know, kamesimama tu. So my clinical chemistry teacher came, akasema, Grace, it's either you stay in this class or I leave. You go shave or you stay here and I don't teach. One of us. So I walked out, went and shaved, came back.
Hey, it shaped you. Anyway, that institution shapes people.
It does.
That's true.
Yeah.
So you get used to laboratory. So when were you introduced to the ward setup officially?
It was a non-initiative because the wards don't cover lab sciences.
Imagine.
We were told you'll only go to the wards if you're collecting samples. You see? So majorly us, it is the lab. It is the lab, not the patient. You only thought the patient will come to you.
Oh.
Most of the times the patient will come to you.
Wow.
Rarely will you go to the wards.
So it is not a core business to...
Exactly. The wards, the patients are not really into the lab sciences, you know? Because even in the wards, it's by your own initiative. Like the way I'm telling you, we went to the mat. It wasn't a must we go. The teacher only said, it's important. Like, go know what happened. You know? But it's not in the career of lab science.
It's not in the curriculum that you have to do like ward rounds. Like you have to know what this patient is suffering from, so that you can also kind of advise or help.
No, our request form, if you look given a request form, it has a history part. That you're supposed to give us a history of the patient. The doctor, not us going to the ward and knowing what the patient is.
Wow.
You give us the history, we collect the sample, we diagnose.
We give you the findings within the stipulated timelines. So it comes a time you finish your career.
Yes.
So you finish, you graduate.
Yes.
Then let's come to the job market.
Yes.
When you finish college.
I finished college in 2013 December. I graduated. My cousin, he passed on that time. He was an anesthetist at Moranga. He just collapsed and died. So he had a clinic and he told me, Grace, please come. Now because you're a lab tech, I'm starting up a clinic. We do 1, 2, 3. I went. I hadn't done my board exam. So it was not really catching up. And you see, these people will come and say, oh, Doctor, I don't have money, you just give me the drugs. So this patient will opt not to go to the lab because of the finances. It's somewhere in Moranga. So
You're not busy. You're not
I used to stay in my
exposed.
cousin's house. So he actually used to pay, I think, me 300 in a day because there is not even work to do. There's no even work to do. So I told him, I'm going to do my board exam, and after I pass, I think I'll go to Nairobi to find a job.
Where Nairobi?
Do I even know Nairobi?
Why did you say Nairobi?
Because you know, when you're in the village, you think Nairobi is everything.
Land of milk and honey. Flowing.
Money is in Nairobi. You cannot get a job in Nairobi. Everything in Nairobi.
Is that true though?
But I don't know Nairobi.
Wow.
I don't know nowhere. So I am supposed to pay at National Bank along Kenyatta Avenue. You don't know where it is.
I know.
So I called my brother and he told me, wewe, ukae tu mahali utashukishwa na gari stay.
You can get lost.
Mimi nitasikia.
You
Wacha
start
nizurure
walking.
Nairobi. Wacha nizurure Nairobi. Do I know where I'm going? So So the next minute my brother calls me, uko niko afya center. Nilisoma nyumba nikaona imeandikwa afya center. Naambia simama hapo tu. Aki, please don't go nowhere.
You might find yourself at railways, then up to
Kenyatta,
Kenyatta, NHIF.
So I did my board exam, passed, got licensed, and got a job somewhere in Embakasi. I worked for 2 months. Hospitality coordinator of Fairview. There was no job also. It was an upcoming
It's
hospital.
like so many people in those, but it's the levels of hospitals. When it's low level, diagnosis is done by evaluating the symptoms.
Yes. So there is no job.
There is no job.
So I did 2 months. And then a friend of mine that we used to study with in KMTC, akaniambia, there is a clinic in Mwiki that needs a lab tech. You go hear what that boss says. You see, I left this job in November, sometime in November. So I went back home. So I told
Muranga now.
Karatina. Muranga was my cousin's place.
Karatina.
So I went back to Nyeri and I told my mom, naitiwa job January, wacha niende nikaone vile. So I came to Nairobi and I found the terms better. 700 in a day.
When you are being paid daily, like it's
anakuhesabia, like if you do these clinics, that's what they do. How many days have you worked? 7. So I'm going to pay you 21,000. You work continuously, Emily. You do nights from Monday to Saturday. Unarudi kazi Monday. You only rest on Sunday. You come back to back on Monday. What do you do? You need money. This is Nairobi.
And that's the experience of most lab technologists.
I wouldn't say lab technologists. I think it's most medics.
No, at least now that we are focusing with the lab technologies,
yes,
that's their journey.
Yes, that's the journey. You will find someone, if today you go to the lab techs working, I mean the fresh graduates, you will find them earning 500, 400 in a day.
Wow.
And it's the days you have worked. And you're purely licensed. And this board will take you round and round before you get that license like this. And there's nobody who will employ you around Nairobi without it.
It's true.
You see?
It's true.
So sometimes inakuwa hard to get a job. Your parents knows you're in Nairobi. You have a job, you know. So ile story ya kuomba kama ukiwa kole.
Wezi. You are working in Nairobi where there is money flowing. In fact, you should be giving them monthly.
See?
But
you see, you're coming to Nairobi to earn 600 in a day.
And you have to pay rent.
18,000. You have to pay rent. You have to feed yourself. You have to dress.
Wow. Then you work in that.
So that's it. I work in Mwiki for around 2 years. And then I find a project that was funded by NASCO that did HIV. And I was given a job, quality assurance officer. So it was purely dealing with HIV testing.
Their quality analysis of those things.
So some funding came to a hold sometime. I left, went back to Mwiki. You see, I think it's more than don't bang a door when you're leaving.
That's true.
So when I went back, the guy was actually happy. Hey, Grace, welcome back. Oh, we are happy to have you.
As the facility now grown?
Yes. But I haven't been back.
No, that time when you were going back, the way you left it, it had now grown.
Yeah, it had changed. The standards, the way they treated patients, they had, you know, there was a shift. So I worked there for some time, and then Kikuyu, I saw an advert on Facebook. Kikuyu is looking for lab technology, so I decided to come. I didn't send via email.
You walked?
I came all the way from Kasarani. I was working usiku there. So I said, I'm working usiku, I can make it to Kikuyu and back. So I came to Kikuyu, dropped my papers, and that's how I got a job at Kikuyu. Since 2017, around May there. So I've been in Kikuyu all this time. Yes, lab sciences is not basically ule mtu wa lab, you know. You know, people even today call us ule mtu wa lab. Mtu wa lab amekam. Mtu wa lab amekujia samples. You know, pigeni watu wa lab wakam. It's beyond mtu wa lab. You see, the real thing is, right now, there is something we call quality control. You must ensure the quality standards are observed to have a quality result. You see, I always say it's garbage in, garbage out. If you bring in garbage, you expect garbage out. So there are things we do in the lab. There are QCs. There are machines that are breaking down now and then. You see, there are engineers to call. For you to get a successful and a quality result, there is too much that goes in the lab. So it's beyond ule mtu wa kuanalyze samples, ule mtu wa urine. And I want people to know, even in that urine you're analyzing, it's us who decide what values. It's not the doctor. The doctor will work with the values we give.
You've given.
If today we say you have a renal failure, if your urea creatinine are way too high, that is what the doctor works with. He doesn't decide it himself. We have to say you have H. pylori for the doctor to treat you H. pylori. We have to say you have amoebiasis or you have malaria for the doctor to.
Okay, I came to realize that now from the layman side, you know, now me I'm layman, that in the lab there are subdivisions.
Yes.
There are subdivisions, like not everything is done everything.
Everywhere, yes.
There is hematology. Okay, tell us those classes in those labs, so that if somebody wants to do lab, they'll know already what is expected.
It's what you study. We studied theoretically. There is phlebotomy. That is what we started. Phlebotomy is where we collect blood. That is phlebotomy. You come again, there is reception where you give your urine or your stool samples. In phlebotomy, we purely do blood collection.
Samples.
So you come into something we call routine. Routine is where we do something called parasitology. I don't know if you studied parasite kidogo in school.
Microbiology.
There is something called parasitology. Parasitology is where we have the BS, blood smear for malaria. We also have the stool analysis. That is parasitology.
Or to check for the
stool.
parasites.
Exactly. Because malaria is a parasite.
Okay. And Mignon is a parasite.
It's a parasite. Hookworms, they are parasites.
Oh, that's why you take stool oftenly for parasitology.
Exactly.
And then we could enjoy you like you are korogaring stool, you koroga.
Actually, me, I don't know why people will feel that thing like this.
How are you supposed to put it?
It's a pea size, man.
You tell them again.
If today you're given a container in the lab and you're told to bring in stool, actually the current containers has a scoop.
So you're supposed
the
to just
scoop of that size is enough.
And it's not supposed to be old a number of hours.
2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah, within 2 hours. Do it within 2 hours.
So that the parasites don't die.
Yes. They are mortal parasites that you see in stool. And if this stool stays for more than 2 hours, the parasites are no longer mortal.
What?
Yes.
So as you koroga that stool full in the bottle?
You don't do it in the bottle actually. You take a slide. You see those slides, glass slides, eh? You put normal saline and you take a small size of the stool and, you know.
And somebody brought a whole jar.
Yeah, hivi. Ndio to diagnose vizuri.
Nani ya jana?
Ati hapana hiyo tatosha daktari. Who does that? Make it little, my friend. Even if you're told to bring in urine, don't feel it like it's even overpouring, you know. It's just like blood, Emily. How much of blood do you have? And you just collect like 4 ml of it.
And even in urine, it's the middle,
midstream.
Like not ya mwanzo, not the end.
Midstream. It's called
and then
midstream.
I jaza that chupa.
Utaki hata moja imwagike.
From beginning to
daktari
end.
atakosa report.
That's true. Okay, we are talking about parasites.
Yes,
you check parasites.
So after you move from routine, there is something.
Sorry. Okay.
There's something we call serology. In serology are these antibody antigen reactions, like blood grouping.
Oh.
We react your antigen with the antibodies, manufactured antibodies, and we come to a conclusion. This patient is A, B, or B. This is where we do the syphilis. This is where we do every antigen. You see these strips people love using. It's antibody antigen reaction. Even PDT, pregnancy test. Now you move from.
In a layman's language, antibodies are those things your body builds to fight something. So when you take a sample, you check if I have those. I've produced the antibodies to fight.
The antigen that is.
So if my sample reads that I have antibodies, that's when you say I have malaria. Malaria is parasites. That's when you say I have syphilis.
Yes.
If my body has produced things that are fighting this microbe.
Yes. We assume the infection, whatever you get right now, is an antigen.
Yes, it's an antigen.
It's an antigen. So your body, to fight back, it produces
antibodies.
And
like
so this thing
ascaris.
we are exactly the ascaris. This thing that we are using to test, it has inbuilt antigens of that infection. So when they come in contact with your blood that has antibodies, there is a
We
reaction.
will see. We will see.
Yeah, there is a reaction that we will read. We'll be able to read.
Oh, okay, okay.
So from antibodies, from serology, we go to something called hematology. Hematology is full hemogram.
So it's in serology that we do HIV antibodies, eh?
Correct.
That's why we used to say seroreactive,
That's right.
Oh,
That is serology.
wow, I didn't know that.
And your mind, it was seroreactive.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it's serology.
Even COVID?
Yes, they are, well, COVID, the recommended COVID is PCR.
Okay, we'll get there.
But right now, there are those test kits watu wanasema zinakuja za kutest corona. They're antibody based.
Oh.
Yes, they're antibody based.
But then antibody, if I had corona
And you're healed.
and I'm healed, I'll still have antibodies.
Yes.
So you'll keep on telling me I have.
You're positive.
That's what happens with the this SO kits. What do we manage?
H. pylori.
H. pylori.
Yes.
That's why every time you take my blood, if I have had H. pylori,
It will reflect on your blood.
Oh.
And that is why right now, if you go to a facility and they are testing you H. pylori in blood, refuse.
Even typhoid.
Refuse. If you collect your blood today and we are telling you are going to do salmonella antigen and H. pylori, refuse.
Wow.
The recommended thing right now and whatever is being done is stool. Because in stool we will get the antigen itself.
What? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
It's not the antibody, it's an antigen test.
Hey.
So if today you're told to bring in stool for H. pylori and it turns positive, it's
So what I need to know is if my condition, if what is ailing me could be antigen related, could I have produced antibodies? So if I have had this condition before, my blood check won't help.
Don't.
It won't help. Where? So everybody might be managing with the H. pylori.
Somewhere we used to do it and they used to react and react.
All of them will react. No, all. If you ever had H. pylori, even in 5 years, you'll always react at 70 years.
Blood.
Blood.
But
yes.
if you do a stool after you take the SO kit the way it's supposed to be done, and you repeat a stool test in 1 month,
it is negative. Wow, we are from antigen, antibody, then another
serology. We go to hematology. Hematology is where we do the full hemogram, total blood count. We analyze all your cells. We analyze your ascaris, we analyze your red blood cells, your platelets, and we give values.
Oh, okay.
This is where we do the sickle cell. Sickle cell is...
So you analyze the composition of everything in blood. That's hematology.
If you come to Kikuyu right now, the report is there. It has 22 parameters. Like now, for kidney, there are 2 bio end products. There is urea and there is creatinine. If they are too high, it means your kidney is not working. It's failing. Sorry. You come to the liver, there are 8 parameters. 2 of them, they are enzymes that are produced by the liver. So if they are high, it means your kidney, the pancreas as well. We have amylase and lipase. If your amylase and your lipase are too high, your pancreas, you know, and it's the same organ that produces insulin. So if you do amylase, lipase and they are high, then we might say
even sugars
no problem.
Wow. So basically the doctors cannot manage anything without that.
You need to know, you need to ask us.
And it is worse if your machine gives wrong readings. The patient is done.
Yeah, there are times it does. You see, that is where the technical part comes in. That's why we went to school. Right now, Emily, if you come to the lab and I teach you how to operate that machine, you will. Because it's like a robot. You give it sample and you tell it, do this and this, and it does. And it gives you results.
Okay.
But you see, you as a nurse, you don't know you don't have this back knowledge like a potassium of 7 and a creatinine of 90
doesn't match. It doesn't match.
Okay. But you see, if you don't have that knowledge of these values need to correlate. Urea and creatinine need to go hand in hand. There is no day one will be high and one is low. There is no single day you will have a total bilirubin of normal and a direct of
higher. Hey,
so there is that technical part of does my result really make sense?
Okay, we finished from chemistry.
Yes. We go to microbiology, whatever you study.
Oh, now microbes are whole. Where I'm confused. Oh yes, I see. Yes. Now microbiology is where you will see
you deal bacteria.
Bacteria now.
Yes. This is where we do culture, we do blood culture, we do stool culture, we do urine culture. This is also where we do gene experts, sputum, TB.
It's just the checking of bacteria
Yes,
in
that is
any
microbiology.
organ. Wow.
You do have any bacterial infection?
Oh.
You see, parasite was about parasite.
Parasite.
Microbiology is majorly bacteria. What bacteria do you have?
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
And
I
you
get
see,
it.
TB, Mycobacterium tuberculosis is
Is a bacteria.
it's a bacterial infection.
And anything now you are given. Now, if somebody does not check for parasites, and then they check for bacteria, and then they don't find any bacteria, then they tell you now you have malaria, and they didn't check for any malaria.
That is wrong.
Imagine.
That is wrong. It's a misdiagnosis. You will forever take malaria drugs and you don't have malaria. Maybe you're suffering from something else.
Imagine. Hey, then we move from microbiology class. We have another class of what you do.
Now back to blood donation and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now
That's
that
also
compresses to the whole lab.
Yes.
Is there a chance that a lab technologist can be a pathologist?
A lab tech cannot be a pathologist. A pathologist is a medical doctor who has specialized in pathophysiology. Now, pathologists are the people who do postmortems. They are the people who do, in case they are the people who give a diagnosis about cancerous cells. In the lab, we find there is a bench that is called histopathology, where we collect these samples
For
after they are
tumor
collected. They are
markers.
collected by the pathologist. They are brought into the lab. As we prepare, the pathologist to come and read the slides.
No, let me understand. Samples are collected by pathologists. So when
Or the specialist for that field. You see, like the gynecological
okay,
issues.
okay,
The gyna
yes.
will collect the samples
Yes,
she wants
yes.
for histopathology.
Like they do biopsy collection,
Exactly,
which a
exactly.
lab technologist cannot
We
do.
don't collect.
You don't collect
Yes,
that one.
yes.
And then they'll come to the histopathology desk
Yes.
in the lab.
Yes.
You will analyze that?
Yes, we will prepare. There is a way you prepare slides after the specimen. You know, you don't analyze. Like now, utapata mtu alitolewa ovary yote. You will
you
not
don't
take the
analyze
whole ovary to the
everything.
microscope and
you
there's a way you slice it out to small slides that are
Kwani
visible on the
nimekata?
slide, alafu unaweka kwa microscope.
Wow.
So that is what we do as in the lab as histopath. There are people who called a histopath tech. That is what they do. They prepare these things and then the pathologist to come and treat them. There are people right now that are doing consultancy in quality in lab testing. There is something we call ISO 15189 2012. It's an ISO that is purely for medical laboratories. So there are people who have taken that route. And this one ensures the end product of the lab, because a result is the end product in the lab. Is it quality? Are the people that you're using qualified? Are they competent? Are your machines verified? You know, are you observing environmental conditions for 1, 2, 3?
To avoid wrong readings at the end of the day.
Do you have documents that you use to say this and this? You know. So I think that is one line that you can specialize in. Another thing, there is something we call EQA. EQA is external quality assessment. Right now, the ones we do. There is a company that vendors those things to us. You will find the people working in that organization, they are lab techs like us. But they don't do stool and urine and blood analysis. You get?
Oh, yeah.
They are purely dealing with that. They are preparing samples. You see? There is also molecular labs, like the ones that are testing COVID. The people working there, they are lab techs. But they are doing molecular testing.
But is there a school for subspecialty or its on-job subspecialty?
It is on job.
Wow.
We all start from being a lab technologist.
So, but as you work,
Yes.
as you build yourself to your career line,
Yes.
it's not like these other fields.
You venture, you feel like, I don't want to purely depend on.
But there is no certification saying that you are now a molecular lab technologist certified.
No, there are people that you go to school and do. Like right now, we started with a diploma. You can go back to school and do a degree in medical lab sciences. You can specialize in microbiology.
Or
You can
not master's
specialize
level?
exactly at
Oh,
master's level. You can
okay.
specialize to be a histopath.
Okay.
You can specialize to do hematology, I'm a BTS. But still, there are also higher diplomas that are being offered at KMTC.
For histopath?
Exactly,
For
for
molecular thing?
hemovigilance, for blood transfusion.
Okay.
You see,
All
just the
right.
way clinic officers will go back to school and do a HND. They're also there in the lab.
Oh, right.
So you can take us, because if you go to these big hospitals, you will find that the person who is working in microbiology is a master's holder in microbiology.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know all those lines, and I believe like everybody's now getting enlightened.
Yes.
So today, if you find yourself in the Afia house, you've been appointed to represent your field of laboratory technologies.
Yes.
What is this one pressing thing you'll want highlighted?
That we need to embrace
In
lab
health sector.
sciences like a health profession like any other. It's a profession like that is overlooked. You know,
It's marginalized.
it's marginalized. Bwana. Muko huko nyuma huko. And you're the main guy. Right now, if there are people who are at risk of getting COVID, are the lab techs and the nurses. The nurses because they're taking care of these patients day in, day out. A lab tech because you're the person who is analyzing results.
First class. Even collecting them.
Collecting them, it is us who is collecting them and analyzing and giving a result to the
And
doctor.
disposing.
Exactly, and disposing the samples.
Which are actively having
Highly
the virus.
positive. You see, there are people who have contracted TB at their workplaces. Embrace medical laboratory sciences. And if you feel interested, it's a not a gender career. You see, it's for everybody. But interest and passion will sustain you.
Yes.
Me, my interest right now and my passion is quality. Everything quality. Is that result quality, you know? And there's a difference between being qualified and competent.
That's true. That's true.
Fine, you're qualified. You have a paper, you have a license, but are you competent to do that job? So we do a competency assessment. So it's a career you can embrace. It's a career you can pursue. And I will quote a friend of mine. Alisema, lab sciences is a very wide. You can venture anywhere. There are so many routes that you can take and escape,
And that
please don't
does
be
mean
confined in giving a result. You know.
koroga a whole bottle of wastes.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can grow in it.
And I keep on telling people, medicine is not an easy career.
It is not.
Anything in medicine work hard.
You got to.
You have to work hard.
And you have to have because the moment, if today, Emily, I pick your sample and mix with someone else,
That's it.
and I give you someone else's result, the doctor will manage you that result.
Imagine.
Because
They trust you.
Exactly.
They
because
trust
my
you.
Achilles was,
Sober.
you have seen people being jailed because they gave wrong blood and the patient passed out.
Transfusion.
You see?
Yeah.
Because you're not, your mind is not there.
That's true.
In medicine, your mind and your hands have to be together.
And there is no try.
There's no try and error.
There is no try and error in
It
medicine.
is, and that is why in KMTC we had the MCQ.
Oh, you did. Nursing doesn't.
We had MCQ.
Oh, yes, nursing has. Oh, what am I forgetting?
Even if you fail, a mark is deducted. That's because you're guessing. Medicine ain't a guesswork. They are facts. If it's a parasite, it's a parasite.
That's it.
If it's a bacteria, it's a bacteria. You see, there's no guesswork like uko 50.
And there is no career in medicine that's lower than the other? There is
No.
no career higher than the other?
No,
Yes.
because even the doctors, they don't have the way engineers and the accounts has, like we graduated with first class.
No. Pass.
Pass. We all passed.
We all passed.
We are all qualified lab techs, we are all qualified doctors and
No
nurses.
best, no bad, no good, no higher, no lower.
We all
Yes,
passed.
we are all equal.
Yes.
Thank you so very much, Grace. And
You're
again,
welcome.
I keep on telling you, this is a health hub full of information, anything medicine, anything career. And if you want us to talk about something else, kindly comment down below. Let me know what you feel about lab technology. If you want to do lab technologies, kindly DM down below. Grace will be here to give us more information about it. And let's do this again next week. Goodbye.